While many were introduced to the GTA franchise with Grand Theft Auto 3, its roots can be traced back much further. This is how Grand Theft Auto transformed along the years. While the first game in the series, 1997's Grand Theft Auto, may have looked dated and received mixed critical reception, it still introduced some of the most important elements that made Grand Theft Auto one of the most important franchises in gaming history. Among these were open-world, mission-based gameplay and mature dialogue from the seedy characters that made up the cast.
I got a warning for you from Bald Man Sonetti. Cross him again, I'll stick a gun up your ass.
And while fans of the modern GTAs might be well aware of these facts, they might not know that their favorite crime simulator started out as a game about police chases called Race and Chase. The biggest difference between Race and Chase and Grand Theft Auto was that the former was a police simulator with an emphasis on obeying laws and thwarting criminals. The game was in development for years before it reached testing. When it did, players did not respond well. There was one aspect that received praise, however. The open-world design ethos of the game meant that testers could still break laws if they wanted. The most fun that players were having with Race and Chase, it seemed, was in causing chaos in the virtual streets. The focus of the entire game shifted from that point on, with the developers deciding that it's more fun to be bad. While the first Grand Theft Auto game didn't make a huge impression on gamers or critics, the developers had confidence in their concept. Just 2 years later, Rockstar Games put out a standalone expansion, Grand Theft Auto London 1969, as well as Grand Theft Auto 2. Grand Theft Auto 2, like the first GTA, received a mixed reception from the gaming community. The graphics remained largely the same, utilizing the same 2D top-down approach. While there were some tweaks, such as a dusk mode and futuristic redesigns for some vehicles, many reviewers found it to be too similar to the original to make a difference. Where Grand Theft Auto 2 improved upon its predecessor was in the world that the player and protagonist Claude Speed interacted with. Grand Theft Auto 2 made Anywhere City even less linear than the first game. Players received missions from rival factions, and relationships with those factions depended on a number of tasks performed for each group. One of the most important moments in the franchise's history arrived in 2001 with the release of Grand Theft Auto 3. With the third official entry in the series, Rockstar built a living, breathing 3D world that gamers could explore and interact with while raising hell and committing crimes.
Well, this city is one big open sewer, but I'm gonna need some non-union help. And if you're interested, you know where to find me.
Players guided the silent protagonist Claude through the criminal underworld of Liberty City, following an engaging story of revenge and crime syndicate warfare. The game featured full voiceovers for all NPCs, and the high production values that went into the creation of Grand Theft Auto 3 set the standard for all subsequent releases. Grand Theft Auto 3 also marked the beginning of the 3D universe that is distinct from the 2D universe of the original games, and the HD universe that starts with Grand Theft Auto 4. The introduction of a fully realized urban environment didn't just change the Grand Theft Auto series. This game was so significant that the New York Times described it just 3 years later as, quote, one of the most influential and successful games ever made. After the massive critical and commercial success of Grand Theft Auto 3, Rockstar moved quickly to put out a sequel. The follow-up, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, hit shelves in October 2002. On the surface, Grand Theft Auto Vice City looked a lot like Grand Theft Auto 3. The game used the same engine, and the quick turnaround time didn't allow the developers a lot of flexibility to push the technology forward. However, Grand Theft Auto Vice City took its setting in 1980s Miami and ran with it to become one of the best-loved games in the series.
I got us some cannons in the trunk. Holy where'd you get all this stuff? Been saving for a rainy day. You like? Yeah, I like.
Vice City oozed neon style and showed that the Grand Theft Auto series wasn't just a technologically impressive playground, but packaged a certain sense of cool as well. Thanks to its creative visual design, high-profile voice actors, and celebrated soundtrack, Vice City did more to bring its world to life than prior GTA titles set in more modern times. While both Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City received significant added content, Rockstar still managed to deliver the third and final entry in the 3D universe in under 2 years. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas arrived just in time for the holidays in 2004, once again to universal praise.
Here we go again.
This time, the Grand Theft Auto world expanded to include 3 cities: Los Santos, San Ferrero, and Las Venturas. Players guided protagonist CJ through a story set in 1992, once again with an era-appropriate vehicles, music, and visuals. While limited by the PlayStation 2 technology it was designed for, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was considered the pinnacle of gameplay for that console generation. Some fans even go so far as to name it the best game of the series. The game also introduced role-playing elements that affected the player's character. Maintaining CJ's physique, for instance, was was a constant concern, and eating too much unhealthy food affected his weight. In addition, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas marked the high point of controversy surrounding the series when the infamous hot coffee incident ended up costing the company millions. After delivering 3 Grand Theft Auto titles within 4 years, Rockstar lengthened its production schedule for Grand Theft Auto 4. For the remainder of the decade, Rockstar employed hundreds to develop both a new game and a proprietary next-generation game engine. The results were stunning.
We are passing the cab office, Nico. This is the business that will take us to the top of the pile.
Grand Theft Auto 4 arrived in 2008 to massive critical acclaim. Powered by the Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, or RAGE, the game set a new standard for emulating real-world environments. Players returned to Liberty City, this time heavily based on New York City. One Manhattan-based critic remarked that he was spending more time in Grand Theft Auto's world than the real New York outside of his apartment. Grand Theft Auto 4 was a massive step forward for the series and marked the beginning of the current HD universe. Both the game and the new engine placed the series at the forefront of visual innovation. During the HD series, fans needed to adjust to longer development cycles. The next main title in the series took 5 years to arrive. However, Rockstar once again delivered a finished product that was well worth the wait. Grand Theft Auto 5 hit shelves in 2013 and reached a new level of success and recognition. A critic for Polygon stated that, quote, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a culmination of the series, Rockstar's catalog, and arguably the entirety of AAA video games. The in-game state of San Andreas was beautifully realized and expansive, and had no shortages of things to do. Before the game's 2013 launch, former Rockstar Vice President Dan Houser described the game as, quote, the biggest world we ever made. The results were not disappointing, as players could jet ski, take flight lessons, and play tennis in between planning bank heists. Rockstar had finally delivered on the vision it stumbled upon almost 20 years beforehand, and the sales figures speak for themselves. While Grand Theft Auto 5 was an amazing achievement, its online mode had an even bigger impact. In the beginning, the online component of Grand Theft Auto 5 allowed 30 players to race or cause havoc in San Andreas as they saw fit. While initially plagued by performance issues, the world has received consistent content updates and new features that have transformed the experience. New vehicles, storylines, and locations have all been delivered to players largely free of charge, building the world outward and keeping players coming back for years.
What is he talking about?
Bruce is a dreamer. He understands my vision.
Oh, so he's an idiot.
Hey! Screw you! Listen, man, you should try going online.
I know how to go on the line. I just haven't done it here.
Grand Theft Auto Online didn't stop there, however. The game has introduced new mechanics that allow players to control a criminal empire. Heists are playable using henchmen or with the assistance of other players. All of these features have helped keep the Grand Theft Auto franchise alive in the gaming community and on sales charts years after its last major release. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more SVG videos about your favorite things are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.